over some various aspects of your machines and some of the most common problems and how to solve them. First, common problem is folks not shooting properly and they get too many balls in the shooter lane. So like I've done this multiple times and I've loaded a bunch of balls in the shooter lane. Now if I try to shoot properly to get them out, one popped out here, but there's probably still 6 or 8 in the lane and there's just not enough power to get them out. So you can keep trying that over and over again and see if that gets out the jam. So I had to do that several times, but I eventually was able to get all the balls out of that jam. Now talking about the key, the machines had keys because they were mounted inside of walls in pachinko parlors in Japan, and in order to service the machine, the attendant would turn the key and swing open the machine from the wall so they can get to the back and service it. They did not ship keys with machines when they resold them in the US, so there's no way to get a key for this lock. However, you really don't need it. There's a couple things you can do. One, you can just turn the machine around to the back and you can open up the machine from the levers that the key would normally activate. So 2 levers, let me show you those. First I'll talk about the one that the key would activate. So the lock mechanism is back here. There's a long bar going up here and here, and if you turn the key it would release these 2 latches. You can do it manually just by grabbing this latch here, and you can see it unlatching here, and it's also unlatching down here. And when you do that, you're able to swing open the whole machine from the frame. So as it's mounted on the wall, the attendant can swing it open and work on it. It's very heavy when you do that, so be careful. Now, most of the time you won't need to swing it open from the frame, but you may need to open the play tray door where the shooter assembly is in case something gets in here and is blocking it. And the way you do that is there is a loop right here, and you can just lift it up, and when you do, it'll pop open your playfield door. So I lifted it up and then I pulled it out. You can swing open the door, so now you can get in here in case you have any issues. Now here you have your play tray door, and to open it, first you want to empty the balls. Next you'll push down, there's a tab right here. I'm going to push down on the tab and the door swings open. And now you can access the lane. So another way to clean the shooter lane if you had a bag jam is you can open that up, and then all the balls would have been backed up here and you could pick them out and take them out of the shooter lane. So if you got carpet fuzz or something that gets in the insides, that's how you can get to it and clean it all out. Actually, before carpet fuzz gets there, it's likely to get caught in the shooter assembly, so I want to zoom in and show you that. So where the 3 balls are, that's where the balls are coming from the play tray, and they're right here waiting to enter into the, make this turn and then enter in the shooter lane. So as you pull down on the flipper, there's a little piece of plastic that will pivot this arm with the weight. There's a weight. It'll pivot that down, and then as it goes up, when it pushed the ball into my hand, it would actually be pushing it into the shooter lane right here. So that's how that works. Now if you ever need to get in here to clean something out, first I'm going to take the balls out. You can pinch these 2 tabs over here, and you can swing open the shooter lane, shooter assembly to get anything out that might be in there. A marble that's too big, or a screw, or a penny. Now to close this all back up, it's a little bit tricky. So first you close the bottom door, and when you do, you're going to have to push down on this so that this will slide in here. Because if you just try and close it, it's getting kind of hung and it's jumping up too high. So I'm going to push down, and then it closes fine. Now you can take the plate field door, close it, and what I like to do is, there's this latch here, there's one up a little bit higher, is I like to grab my hand right where those 2 latches are and then squeeze it closed. If you want to have a lot of fun, when your machine is full of balls, hit the ball drain lever, and then what happens is all the balls will come down this chute and flow out. And if you've got a bucket here, no problem, but if you don't have a bucket here, they go everywhere. So a lot of times people, if something's not working on the machine, they'll reach around and they'll hit this lever, and when they do, all the balls fall out. So we'll go ahead and do that so you can see what it looks like. You can push here or you can push here. So when I did that, it got all the balls out up to this point. Now there's still some balls in the jackpot assembly and here. So if you need to ship the machine, pack it away, store it, lay it down, you want to get those balls out, let me show you the steps to get them out. You can simply grab this long rod here and pivot it up and down. And then you just might want to touch the tray and make sure there's no balls sitting anywhere. Okay, so now we've got all the balls out of the back. Now I want to show you the probably the most common problem, and that's when the one ball seesaw is in the wrong position and people play and they get a lot of jackpots and the jackpots start backing up the machine. So we'll see how to clear that. The light in the center is on because we've got a jackpot, but it didn't completely cycle. I can notice a couple things. One, there are some balls backed up here, and maybe about 10 or so. And there's also one down here. Now you can try and just add balls to the top supply tray and see if everything works and starts paying out your jackpots, and if it does, everything's okay. That's great. But let's pretend like adding the balls didn't work for whatever reason. So a couple things we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is to get this one out. There's a little wire here with a little, it looks like a little paper clip on the end of it that's blocking the ball. So get a little bit closer. And I'll lift up on that, and that one came out. Now I still have a lot of balls backed up here, so I'm going to pivot the seesaw, and same problem. So I can do that one at a time and get the balls out. But here's another problem that happens: is people will do the seesaw many times so that there's a bunch of balls backed up here. And what happens then, if you lift up on the wire, they may not all fall out. Maybe one will and the rest will jam. Let's see. Okay, so they're jammed. So now what we've got to do, while holding this up, we need to pivot this arm so that we can release, we can move those balls to get the pressure off of them and let them fall. Okay, so that got them out. So that's pretty, that's how you handle that. It's not too difficult. It can be difficult. I've seen as many as 100 or more balls backed up in here, and when you got 100 balls backed up in the jackpot area waiting to be paid out, the weight of those balls makes it very difficult to clear the jam. You actually have to physically rock the machine back and forth to loosen the jam up, tapping on it, doing whatever you can to get those balls out. So that's why I encourage people, when the lights come on and stay on, there's an issue, stop playing, turn around, and figure out what's going on. While we're here, I'll just show you how the flipper works. So this metal here, that's attached to the flipper. So as I'm pulling down the flipper, you can see it's pushing this clear white piece of plastic. That white plastic is what moves the weighted plastic on the front of the shooter assembly to load a ball in the lane. So I pull back, it's going to load one if I had balls in the play tray. Now, it shouldn't happen, but if this white ever gets on the wrong side of that metal, it's not going to work. So what you do is you pull the flipper all the way down, pull the plastic back to the wire, gently pull it forward until you can get it on the correct side.